Okay, so normally on the deep dive, we're digging into research, maybe policy docs, the drill. But today, it's different. The sources we're using today are, well, they're personal accounts, raw stories, really terrifying things that happen in places we're taught to think of as, completely safe. Schools, university campuses, places like that.
And that's the core of it, isn't it? This idea of safety, of trust being just shattered. We assume these institutions are safe zones, a given. But these stories, and they show something else, real danger, hiding right there, exploiting the very setup, the isolation.
Exactly. And we're not just going to tell the stories. We want to look at how the threat worked in each case. We've kind of broken it down into 3 types of danger we see here. First, there's that close-up internal threat, safety betrayed by someone right there with you. Then the environment itself failing you, being totally alone when things go wrong. And lastly, how the system, the very structure meant to protect, can actually be turned against you. Let's start with that first one, the intimate threat. It's maybe the most unnerving. Okay, story 1. This takes us to a small university, West Virginia. Back in 2021. Context here is important. Student numbers were low then, so most people actually had single dorm rooms, which makes it weird right off the bat that our narrator got assigned a roommate. This roommate, she was described as polite, but quiet, maybe a bit of a privileged attitude. Apparently, one of the first things she said was something like, "Oh, I had this room all to myself until you joined."
Sets a bit of tone, doesn't it? A slight boundary drawn immediately.
Right. So the narrator had this strict routine. Left every Friday, came back Monday morning, always 6:00 a.m., clockwork. The first Monday back, she's exhausted, just wants to sleep, goes straight to bed. But about 10 minutes later, she feels the edge of her mattress. It was memory foam, dipped down. Then lift. She glances over, sees the roommate facing the wall looking asleep.
Easy to dismiss, maybe, especially when you're tired.
Totally. She just figured, I'm tired, maybe I imagined it, or the roommate shifted weirdly, brushed it off. But the next Monday, same thing, 6:00 a.m., return, gets into bed. This time, though, it wasn't just the edge. The whole side of the bed sagged, like significantly. She just lay there, absolutely frozen. Then she heard it, a definite sound. Someone jumping off her bed. And these beds, they were super high. You actually needed a step stool to get into them.
Whoa. Okay, wait. The timing again? Exactly 6 a.m., right after she gets back. And jumping off a high bed, that's not accidental rolling over. That's deliberate action.
Exactly. It suggests the roommate was waiting, knew the schedule, waited until she was back, likely just falling asleep.
Yeah. And using the memory foam, it almost leaves evidence, that indentation, it feels calculated. Chillingly so.
It ramps up the fear for the next time, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Which brings us to the final Monday. The narrator walks in, already on edge, sees the roommate in bed, but this time facing her bed. She gets into her own bed, 5 minutes pass, the mattress indents again, and at contact, a hand rests right on the back of her neck.
Oh my God.
Not squeezing, she said, just holding, resting there. She described it as complete paralysis, like pure shock, couldn't move, couldn't scream, primal fear freezing her until the hand lifted, the weight was gone.
Yeah.
And she just fled, got out of the room immediately.
That escalation, from sitting to jumping off to physical contact, it's methodical. And it perfectly illustrates that violation of the assumed social contract in a dorm. You expect basic respect, basic boundaries. This person wasn't just ignoring them, they were systematically testing them, pushing further each time.
And there were signs the system maybe missed, right? When she was finally getting her stuff moved out, she did manage to switch rooms. Thankfully, she remembered a couple of things. One, the roommate had mentioned a previous roommate, someone who apparently didn't stay long.
Red flag number 1, an unexplained quick departure.
And 2, she remembered seeing a locked drawer in the roommate's desk, packed, like 10 bottles of prescription meds.
10 bottles? Did she say what for?
The roommate had apparently vaguely claimed it was for some kind of skin issue. But 10 bottles.
That, combined with the previous roommate leaving, it paints a picture, doesn't it? More than just weird potential instability, boundary issues.
Definitely. And then there was the final encounter. When the narrator went back with her mom to get the rest of her things, the roommate suddenly appeared in the doorway and started pressing her, aggressively.
Pressing her about what?
About where her new room was. Which hall? Was it near the stairs? Kept asking. The narrator lied, obviously, said it was a different hall entirely.
That's not passive behavior. That's actively trying to regain access, or at least information. It confirms the intent wasn't benign.
Her mom had this chilling theory afterward, that the roommate was testing limits, seeing how close she could get.
And the hand on the neck?
Maybe testing physical control before something worse, like choking. It's a terrifying possibility.
Yeah, a total betrayal of that intimate space. Okay, so moving from that internal betrayal, our second story highlights what happens when the environment itself leaves you vulnerable. Complete isolation. This one's set at the University of Huddersfield in the UK, sometime between 2021 and 2023. The narrator had a huge statistics project, needed serious computer time, so she had to stay late in the business building. Described it as old, 3 stories, kind of separate from the main campus buzz. Isolated. It's about 10:00 p.m. Place is cold, sterile feeling, dead silent, and there's this strong smell of cleaning chemicals, which told her one thing.
Staff had been through and gone. She was alone, utterly alone. And she knew it. She's on the second floor in a computer lab. Around 11:30 p.m., that silence just shatters. A door slams, loudly, deep inside the building somewhere, followed by footsteps. Slow, heavy, echoing down the empty hallway. She said they walked like they wanted to be heard, deliberate, announcing themselves in that emptiness.
That's psychological, isn't it? Using the silence, the isolation against her. It's not someone sneaking around. It's someone making sure she knows they're there and that she's trapped, essentially. No witnesses.
Exactly. And then the footsteps stop. Right outside her locked computer lab door. Then the door handle starts rattling vigorously for like 30 seconds straight.
Trying the lock, confirming she's in there and they can't just walk in. Pure intimidation.
Then the rattling stops. The footsteps fade away again. Silence for maybe 10 minutes. Tense minutes. Then the sound comes back. But different.
How so?
It was coming from above, from the ceiling space. Above the drop tiles, a distinct sound. Scraping, crawling, like someone dragging themselves along right over her head.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
That's, wow. Exploiting the building itself.
She looked up, watched as one of the thin ceiling tiles directly above her kind of shifted, sagged a bit under weight. Then this slow creak, like someone carefully, slowly trying to lower themselves down through the gap.
That's a massive security failure right there. Uncontrolled access to ceiling voids. In an academic building, late at night, whoever this was, they tried the door, found it locked, and immediately went for the next point of entry. The most concealed, unexpected one. They were determined.
That was it for her. She didn't wait, grabbed her stuff, bolted out the door, ran for the stairs. As she hit the stairwell landing, she risked a glance up to the floor above. And there was a man standing on the landing just above hers.
What did he look like?
Not a student, not staff. Baggy, maybe torn clothes, and his mouth. She said it was hanging open in this huge, wide grin.
Just grinning.
Yeah, listless, just standing there, grinning down at her, staring. She didn't stop, just ran.
Yeah.
All the way across campus, back to her locked dorm room, terrified.
That image. The grin, the stillness. That's designed purely to terrorize.
And the next morning, she went back in daylight. Needed to know. Sure enough, the ceiling tile, directly above where she'd been sitting, gone. Missing.
Oh.
And another one from the corner where she heard the creaking, the shifting, also gone.
Confirmation. They watched her. They rattled the door. And they were absolutely prepared to drop down from the ceiling to get to her. Chilling.
Okay, our final story. This one shifts focus again. It's about how systems designed for safety, like ID checks, can be twisted. Institutional deception. This involves a young woman named Annabelle. She was 16. At a UK high school, they often call it college there. Now, this school had a complex layout, shared space with a special needs school, even a nursery, lots of different people around. So they had this strict ID lanyard policy. Everyone had to wear one, teachers, students, staff. But kids being kids, they often flipped the actual ID card part backwards on the lanyard. So you just saw the plastic holder, not the photo or name.
Ah, a small detail, but one that creates a loophole, potentially. You see the lanyard, you assume legitimacy.
Exactly. And this was only Annabelle's second full day at this school, still finding her way around. She made a quick trip to the bathroom during a quiet period. School felt pretty empty. Coming back into the cafeteria area, she sees a man standing there. He speaks to her, apologizes for bothering her, and he's wearing a lanyard. ID flipped backwards.
Instant assumption. Teacher, staff member, authority figure.
Right. So when he asks her for a quick favor, could she help him carry some work things from the trunk of his car? She doesn't hesitate. She's conditioned, right? Respect staff, help out, politeness.
And that flipped lanyard provided the perfect cover. The institutional trust signal, the lanyard itself, overrode any other potential warning signs, like his behavior.
Yeah, because as they walked towards the car park about 50 meters away, kind of hidden by some bushes, she noticed he seemed off, nervous, fidgeting with his hands, didn't make small talk, just this tense walk.
Subtle cues, easy to ignore when you've already accepted the premise this is a teacher needing help.
They get to the car, a blue one. As they approach, she sees movement inside, in the back seat, and realizes there are men back there, hiding. At least two.
The trap is sprung.
Yeah. The guy she was with, the fake teacher, he suddenly scrambles out of the front passenger seat like he was waiting. The man who brought her there grabs her arm as she instinctively tries to turn and run.
Classic abduction tactic. Lured to an isolated spot using a pretext of authority, then overwhelm. The obscured car park was the kill zone, basically.
She said she's small, 5'2", underweight, but pure adrenaline kicked in. She managed to yank her arm free and just sprinted. Ran back towards the school building as fast as she could. She could hear them chasing her. Multiple sets of heavy footsteps pounded behind her.
Terrifying. Absolutely terrifying.
But thankfully, the footsteps stopped right before the automatic glass doors leading into the main school foyer.
The public visibility threshold. They weren't willing to risk being clearly seen grabbing her inside the main building.
She made it inside, found a cafe worker. Total panic. They called the police, her parents, and the security cameras. They actually caught the men. They were identified and later charged with attempted kidnapping.
Wow. So they got them. How do they even get in wearing a lanyard?
That's the chilling part. Police figured it out. They'd found a lanyard a student had accidentally dropped outside the school grounds earlier.
So they just picked it up, flipped the ID, and walked right in. Blended in.
Exactly. That simple oversight, that dropped lanyard, became the key to bypassing security. For Annabelle, the impact was huge. Weeks off school, ongoing therapy, all from a moment of being polite, trusting the lanyard, trusting the system.
Devastating. It shows how fragile those systems can be if we're not vigilant about the details, like that flipped ID.
So, 3 stories. 3 different kinds of horror within supposedly safe academic walls. You've got the dorm room violation trust completely broken by someone inches away, then the isolated building where the environment itself becomes part of the terror and you're utterly alone. And finally, the school abduction attempt, where the very symbols of safety and authority are used as weapons.
And if you thread them together, the common element isn't just the presence of danger that exists everywhere, sadly. It's how the specific environments, the systems, the assumptions we make within those academic settings either failed to prevent it or were actively exploited. It really makes you think, doesn't it? About those places where you feel the most comfortable, the most secure. Your dorm, your school library, your office late at night. How solid is that feeling of safety, really? Who else has access? And what might their real intentions be? Hidden behind a polite face or, a flipped lanyard. It's something to consider.
A heavy thought to end on. Thank you for joining us as we walked through these truly dark accounts. If these stories and the way we looked at them resonated with you, make sure you stick around for our future deep dives. And please, to help us keep bringing these kinds of analyses to light, take a second to hit the like button, maybe share this with someone you think should hear it, and definitely subscribe to our channel, Horror Docs. We'll see you next time. Until then, maybe double check those locks. Be aware.